And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is Tuesday, July 26, 2022. Hard to believe it's the last week of July and half the year's gone, as I always say. And coming up August 1st next week, going to be a great month, of course, over the next few weeks with some amazing artists coming on. So stay tuned to the social pages out there. And definitely you can check out all the work out there at the sportsguyspodcast.com live every time we go live here on the air. We're there. And, of course, the Backstage Pass YouTube channel. I'll tell you what, couldn't ask for a better 2021 than this guy right here. We got to meet in Nashville for the first time at CRS 2022 at the Omni Hotel. Hope to do it again next year. He's open for ZZ Top last year, iTunes Country Top 10. And I tell you what, hometown that definitely made national news to a big show he did last year. And an album called Straight from Kentucky that's just a damn good country music album. Yeah, you can say I said that on the air. JD Shelburne back here on the show. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on. It's good to see you, brother.
Oh, man, good to see you, brother. Had a great time up there, and, of course, hoping to do it again coming up in March of 2023 at CRS. Appreciate you stopping by the media booth we had. Well, hey, let's talk about that. Great place to start for a topic of conversation. 2021, I mentioned all those accomplishments and those things added to your resume. I mean, Straight from Kentucky, one of the top, most accomplished albums out there that you guys had. Definitely all these media outlets, including myself, gave huge compliments on it. iTunes Country Top 10, opening for ZZ Top. Could you have asked for a better 2021?
Man, it was pretty remarkable for us. You know, the record really just kind of sailed us on through. Man, we got a lot of great shows. ZZ Top was one of them. I mean, we were actually the last band to open for him. Dusty died just a few days after our show. So talk about a legendary show, and then that happening. It was a whirlwind year. And coming after COVID, fans are getting back after the shows. And so it's good. It's been great going uphill and getting this COVID stuff behind us. And the album being top 10 was icing on the cake.
Congratulations, no doubt. And I tell you, you had a lot of different people call that out there. You had what I loved about the album so much. It had that heart and soul of kind of where you grew up, and that tobacco farm, loving country music. So many songs that resonate with so many great people out there, country music fans of all genres of music. But it's an album where there was something for everyone on there, right?
Yeah, that's one thing we it seems like I never can steer away from the small town and the tobacco farm. It's just me, man. I've done that for 5 albums, and I still write songs with other writers and record songs that just naturally gravitate me towards the small town heritage, man. It's just who I am, and you just can't shy away from it. But I got to spend a lot of time, the back half of COVID, I wasn't playing as many shows. My wife was pregnant with our first son. And so I spent a lot more time listening to songs that were pitched to me. And so I felt like I really had a little bit more hands-on on making this record, and more time to really test songs on Facebook Lives, because you got to think back. I mean, I wasn't playing as many shows. I still had a pretty remarkable year playing shows, but I lost a ton. And so I got on live every night. It's like, hey, I got this new song. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And about every song I played, they were like, record it. It's like they never would say, the song wasn't any good. So I just kind of, my wife and I would share headphones on our walks in the neighborhood at night. And I really like this song. And, so I had a couple of different irons in the fire on giving me, advice on what to cut. So spent some time on it. And, I feel like this song's got everything you can think of in an album. I think it's got hits on it. I think it's got fillers on it. They're just as good as hits. And, every song I recorded was written by a hit writer. And so, there you go.
That tells you all you need to know right there too, no doubt. Hey, even before Straight from Kentucky came out, you guys had a huge response from Tulane Town. I know we checked in on this in Nashville at the CRS this year. Tell us about that one too, because you're still riding high with some magnificent songs off of there, including She Keeps Me Up Nights, One Less Girl. A lot of great responses from Tulane Town.
Yeah, One Less Girl was my first go at radio. It actually went to like 28, and it really got me a few gigs. It really got me familiar with country radio programmers. That was in 18. And then that was the first time CMT invited me to the office downtown. I played my record, and then they told me right off the bat before I got up off the bar stool that day, hey, we're going to add One Less Girl to our network. Congrats. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so, that was pretty monumental for me, because I'd been passed on a few times in town early on with my first couple albums. I was still green to town, couldn't really write a great song. I didn't have my sound just yet. And then after One Less Girl kind of died off, we brought out She Keeps Me Up Nights. They went to number 2 on the 12-pack countdown. That was my first time ever being on the 12-pack, and to go from top 200 video to number 2, just fan voted, was pretty awesome to show you I have real fans that actually care and listen. And Tulane Town was a huge album for me. I mean, people still buying it at my shows. and we still play songs off of it. And then to follow it up with this, Kentucky, straight from Kentucky, and so that was last year. And so I'm just now writing out the album Kentucky. We got another video coming out next month off the record, and then we're gonna start recording a new record this fall. So, matter of fact, my producer and called me this morning and left me a voicemail. I haven't called him back yet. So we'll be getting started on something new this fall. Man, time just keeps flying by. Gosh,
can't believe I'm appalled every day of where these months have gone. I feel like we just started a new year and we're halfway through it now, and it's already August next week, and it's crazy. Y'all had another one that was one of my favorites off that album, Good Old Boy, Good Time.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a great song to include in an album that really explains kind of where you're from, the background, the small two-lane town. Tell us about that one a little bit.
I still play that song on my show every night. That's one of my most requested songs off that album, actually. It's just kind of a fun, like, summer anthem song that reminds you of going out on the lake with your friends in a boat and just jumping off the deck and kicking back a cold one with your buddies. I mean, it's a staple of summer anthems, in my opinion. And Mark Nessler, my old neighbor, wrote that song. He's written tons of hits. He's got Luke Bryan's new single out right now. And so he's had this in his arsenal a while, and I listened to it, and I just started playing it live. And it was just a fun song, and I actually still love singing the song. I mean, I get tired of certain songs on records because you just sing them over and over and over. I can't imagine how much Billy Ray Cyrus hates singing "Achy Breaky Heart." I mean, he's probably sang it a billion times, but when it pays the bills and fans love it, you just gotta keep singing. But that's actually one of those songs that I still love singing, and it's on our set list every night.
I love it. It's a lot of fun, no doubt. Well, I tell you what, a lot more to get to, of course, including off the Straight from Kentucky album. It's JD Shelburne. It is the Backstage Pass presented by our friends over at MitchMacs.com, the official merchandise provider of the show, and, of course, Bangtail Whiskey and our friends over at Hank Jr. Productions. Hey, I'm going to turn it over to you and go ahead and grab that weapon out there, that guitar, and play that son of a gun. Straight from Kentucky is the current album we talked about. It's a huge album, did great things for JD in 2021. If you haven't checked it out, go stream it across all the digital platforms. Brother, it's all yours. Dealer's choice. What's up first?
So I have a new album, or a new song coming off the album called The Road I Grew Up On. I wrote this with Tony Martin and Mark Nessler. And it's been on this record since we put it out. And the more and more I've played shows, the more and more people can just love this song. And, I got to write with Tony Martin for the first time, and they've written just countless 90s hits. And I took the idea of actually of this song, and we shot a video for it. And so it's gonna drop August the 19th, I believe. So I'll play you part of this one as the first one. So
here we go.
It goes like this. The road I grew up on is blacktop now, but I still hear the gravel, but I'm driving down, sitting at the red light, but in my mind I can still see that buckshot stop sign. A lot of things I don't remember. A lot of things have changed since I've been gone. This little town is getting bigger. I can still find my way home. The road I grew up on, that I left behind, is now growing houses on both sides. A lot of things I don't remember. A lot of things have changed since I've been gone. This little town is getting bigger. I can still find my way home. I know where I'm going. I'm going home. A lot of things I don't remember. A lot of things have changed since I've been gone. This little town is getting bigger. I can still find my way home. The road I grew up on, It's blacktop now. On the road I grew up on.
I love it, man. Good stuff right there, Tis. Working with some of the best songwriters, which you've done in the great city of Nashville. Mark Nessler being one of those guys, no doubt, from my neck of the woods down here in Beaumont, Texas. Very synonymous with so many great the Hall of Fame country musicians out there. More to come with JD here. We'll take a quick time out, a word for our sponsors. Come back. We're going to do we'll talk a little Kentucky basketball. I know it's a little sore subject, but we're going to get to it. Landed a 5-star recruit we were talking about before the show, including, and also there's a pretty cool story if you guys don't know behind him right now. There's that Shelburne number 34 red jersey behind him. If you don't know the story, we were talking about it before the show. He'll tell you all about that coming up here in the rapid fire segment. We'll get a couple of more songs off of Straight from Kentucky to talk about, and one more performance here. It is the Backstage Pass, the timeout for our sponsors. Coming back with more.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show again, Brandon Morrill is the Backstage Pass, again presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, MitchMacs.com, and Hank Jr. Productions. Great shows next week to begin August. Our good friend Priscilla Block is going to stop by August the 1st, and on August the 5th, the Hall of Famer, the legend, Deborah Allen, back here on the Backstage Pass to talk about her new album, which we're going to follow up from CRS 2022. Back here with JD Shelburne, it is the Backstage Pass, talking a lot about Straight from Kentucky and just the great 2021 that he had. I love this when you guys get to work. Like we talked about Mark Nessler and all the great people you've worked with. That album also was produced, if I remember, by Phil O'Donnell. Yeah. Tell me what it was like to work with Phil on that album too, because again, just you get so many great people in your camp. It just makes projects that much better.
It does, man. I met Phil O'Donnell back in about 2014. I played this little festival in Centerville, Tennessee, in the middle of this little town on a courthouse, like front porch. It's pretty cool. It's actually Phil and another writer opened up for me that night, and I was like, man, I should be opening for him. I don't think the mayor realized who they hired, but they opened for us that night, and we just kind of kicked it off. He just played some songs. I was like, gosh, those are huge songs. And he played songs that had never been recorded. I'm like, those are huge hits too. And we just kind of kicked off a little friendship. Then we kind of lost touch for a few years. I was on the road, and then he was doing his thing. And then we just kind of rekindled again randomly. And then he signed on to produce my record. So, he's very particular in the studio, and, some parts that he just brought a sound out of me that I really had to kind of dig in deep to get, a couple parts on a couple of the songs that he really made me sing, really, some high notes I probably wouldn't have sang on the record. And, he's very encouraging on stuff like that. And so anytime you can get a producer that's not just about getting your money and the check written to him at the end of the night, somebody that can coach you and really make you a better singer. And then maybe if you get lucky, pitch it to the label they're working with. And Phil's just been a good guy to hang in the corner with me. And, he's had access to great songs. I got to cut a lot of his songs, and the majority of the songs on the record are from him, where I've written with him. And so,
Wow.
He's just a good tool to have down here, man. He's written a lot of hits. He's produced a lot of albums, and he just knows good sound when he hears it. So I was very lucky to get to work with him. Hopefully I'll work with him on this new record.
Amazing talent, no doubt. You guys had some great songs off of there. Of course, the title track itself. Let's start with that one and break it down. There's 3 in particular that I know did real well for you guys across a number of different media publications out there and charts for that matter. Let's start with the title track. A great title for an album, and definitely just kind of again sums up your childhood basically.
Yeah, well, the title track of my record was straight from Kentucky, and if you look and see this photo behind me right here, I got to do a show at this festival near my hometown, and Tim McGraw headlined it, and that's me actually out on stage during the show. I mean, there's probably 10,000 people there. And when I got the call to do that show right there, a photographer actually printed that for me to hang it in my studio. It was a big deal for me that day. When I got the call to do that show and McGraw was going to headline, I was like, I've got to write a song about my home state. I'm going to go back to Louisville, which is 30 minutes from my hometown. I've got to write an anthem song that would make people go crazy in the crowd. And so I told Phil that day, we went to the studio at Warner. I was like, hey, man, I want to write a song about where I'm from and mention the state of Kentucky. Maybe kind of like Kentucky 101, talk about what we're known for and something that would just rile the crowd up at concerts. And so we wrote it just in time for that show. And I mean, I'll never forget it. Actually, when I played it at this show, we played it a little slower. We went to the studio, we kind of rocked it up, which was Phil's idea. And so you get 2 versions, and what we have on the records is kind of the more rock and anthem feel. And right now it's on every Texas Roadhouse jukebox nationwide. So anytime we go to a Roadhouse, I usually hear it playing above. It's kind of cool, to beat a steak and hear one of your songs. And so we had to make it the title track. It was on the cover of the tourism guide, being from Kentucky. Why not? So it worked out.
I love it, man. Congrats on that too. It's like walking in, like you said, your favorite restaurant too, the Cracker Barrel. I'll hear some country songs. I'm like, yep, they've been on the show. Yep, they've been on the show. Yep, they've been on the show. Nope, haven't got that one. Let me see. Wait. Another great response from another one on there too that I know we talked about at CRS and even now, Hometown in My Headlights. And for the folks that don't know, tell them a little bit of the kind of the original plan for that one.
Yeah, so Hometown in My Headlights was written by a guy named Jace Hines. He wrote an Aldine single a while back, and him and I have been buds a while, and he sends me songs, and he sent me this song. Like I said, I've been looking for a summer anthem for every album. This was for this one, and it just has that feel good, small town feel, going to the diner, hanging out with your girl, and just making memories. And I live in Nashville. We went down the road and found this little drive-in down in Lebanon, Tennessee called the Snow White Drive-In. They've had Kid Rock shot a video there. Keith Urban shot a video there. And so we reached out to him, shot a video there, and the song went to number 2 on the chart. It almost cracked number 1, but there was somebody above us. I can't remember who it was. And we just could never get past number 1. And so it was a number 2 video for us. It's been a lot of fun. We took it to country radio. It did pretty well for us. And it's always been a fun one to play live. And like I said, I'm a guy that love to bring songs to life with videos. I feel like that helps me get work and helps fans relate to song lyrics. And so, Hometown in My Headlights, we knocked it out of the park.
You sure did, no doubt. I love this one too because you came on and talked about it. We first met about 2019 when I began this show, and then a little bit after you guys had put out the album in 21. Church Pew Barstool. I know that one still holds a special place in your heart, right?
Oh yeah, number 1 on CMT, baby.
Yeah.
That was the number 1 video for us.
I love that song. It's just good stuff. Yeah.
Mark Nessa wrote this song, and back during COVID, when we were all stuck at home, he sent me a bunch of songs, and I come across a song, and I learned it. And it's just stuck in my head really fast. And one day I put it on Facebook Live one night, and I had so many messages. Or like, man, you got to cut that song. And I just felt like it's just a song that everybody can relate to. Everybody's been through tough times, and we ended up shooting the video at this little church in Franklin, Kentucky, up the road about an hour, and it was just great, man. And the Stormlight Pictures knocked it out of the park, and CMT picked it up, and it went number 1 for a couple of weeks. So I had a number 1 video, and as you can imagine, as an artist like myself, that's really started from the bottom, that's been in this grind a long time, that's been making fans since for a decade. Like, to have a number 1 video, that's just another promo tool I can put on my page and really promote. So it was a good feeling to have that song, and I'm very grateful that Mark let me record it. Marty Dodson and Jennifer Hansen also wrote it. Those 3 have written a lot of big hits, so I was very honored to record it.
That's good stuff. Again, Church P. Barstool, and all these songs can be found off the album Straight from Kentucky out there from J.D. Shelburne across all the digital platforms or wherever you guys stream your music. Another one I'll recap off of there was Fine by Me. I thought it was just one of those messages that when somebody hears it for the first time, they're like, Yeah, I can relate to that. We've all been through a little phase of okay, fine by me, whatever whatever's out there is out there for you. Give the folks a little bit of kind of that little synopsis of that one too, because that was another highly requested one for you.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that tune when it comes to Fine by Me and kind of the writing and kind of take people through that song a little bit too, because I think we can all agree with that, right?
Yeah, it was Phil O'Donnell wrote that song, and he snuck it into my email one day, and I'm like, this song is. Yeah, this song, like, it just resonated with me. My wife loved it for one. She thought it was a great song, and it was her favorite song on the record. And so you can imagine, when your wife likes something, you can't really say no. So I started testing it out at shows, and everybody was like, "Man, what a song!" And so I was shocked it hadn't been recorded yet. So, like I said, Phil O'Donnell wrote that song and sent it to my email one day, and it was a big one. So we shot a video for it, and we've had the last, I guess, 6 videos on CMT. Does that sound right? So
I think so, yeah.
we were pretty excited to get them to believe in that one as well.
All right, I think we may have talked about this last time, but I wanted to bring it up too because a lot of people are doing this now. A lot of different artists love Christmas. You guys got a chance to put your kind of your take on and your flavor with Santa Looked a Lot Like Daddy last December 1st when you guys put this out for a Christmas tune for people to enjoy during the holiday season. How did this come about, and was this something you wanted to do when it came to a Christmas single? Was this something was always a project near and dear to your heart? Could you hear me? I don't know if you hear me. I guess I lost connection. You still there? Have I lost connection with JD? You still there? Can you hear me? I don't know if you can still hear me. Maybe having some technical problems.
Yeah,
here.
I love Christmas music, man.
There it goes.
I grew up on a farm. Mom and dad, are just Christmas. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can now. I got you.
Hello.
Yeah, I got you here. Can you hear me? Okay, we're good.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We're good. Got you.
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We're good.
I think I've lost you again.
No, you're good. You were talking about that Christmas arrangement for Santa Looked a Lot Like Daddy.
So, Christmas in my family. Yeah, Christmas in my family. His dad, celebrated Christmas. Then my whole family have a huge family, and so, when we got together and started talking about Christmas songs, man, we just there's so many big classics. There's slow songs, there's Sinatra songs, there's Bing Crosby songs, and when I heard the Santa Look a Lot Like That song, it's just, man, I wanted to put my own twist to it, and just happened to work out, and the fans love it. It's actually fun to play live. I've never done a Christmas concert live, and that's my plan this year. So hopefully, when we get the time to put out some Christmas decorations and get things going for the winter time, maybe a Christmas concert will be in the queue. But I would love to do a Christmas song.
Yeah, I would love that too, for you guys to, like you said, a little Christmas show or something. We get to Nashville to hear hear that too. And I know you love the live streams, so it'd be awesome to hear you do a Christmas show. You know what I mean? I love that. It'd be a lot of fun. Hey, we got a little fun here too, because it's all fun and games in rapid fire. So I'm gonna start with tell people the story behind you. You were telling me a little before we went live. The jersey with number 34, the red jersey behind you, was given to you by someone special, and I thought it was a great way to decorate his room back there for the studio. Tell people the story about the JD Shelburne 34 red jersey behind you.
Well, I'm getting about a 25-second delay on your question, so I hope this makes sense. So I've got your question here. So I may have a bad connection here. I'm not sure. So the jersey behind me is actually a Louisville Cardinal jersey. I've done a lot of stuff for Louisville Athletics through the years. And actually, I'm a huge Kentucky fan, but I've done more shows for Louisville. It's kind of where I'm from. And one of my good friends, Jay Mackin, is one of their donors for sports, and he got Rick Pitino to give me a personalized jersey, a Louisville jersey with my name on the back of it. I thought that was pretty cool. I had to frame it. So, Rick Pitino was a former Kentucky coach who brought us back from the depths, won a national title in '96, and runner-up '97. So Pitino still is one of our favorites, and for him to give me a jersey is pretty cool. So, but I'm still waiting for Calipari to give me a Kentucky jersey. As you can imagine, as a longtime fan, I'm waiting.
I know you'll get one from Cal there. Hey, speaking of that, coming up here, college basketball season. We'll be talking about this, coming up over the next few months, and just right around the corner from the start of football season, which means basketball season's about late October, somewhere there to start the college and of course the pro season. Just landed another. Speaking of the Kentucky Wildcats, another 5-star recruit just the other day, and man, you guys are coming up with some big recruits, as he always does. He being John Calipari, the coach you're talking about there. Great head coach, great resume, known for building great programs. I know it was a tough tournament loss, but Justin Edwards announced, that was the gentleman's name, he's going to commit his commitment to Kentucky on just yesterday, I believe, and it's a second 5-star pledge in the 23 class. Tell me about this. You guys have to be jumping out of your shoes up to the rim to slam dunk, because another huge commit goes Calipari's way, right?
Yeah, we were at dinner yesterday, my wife and I, when I got the news, and I was literally jumping for joy. My wife's like, "What is wrong with you?" My wife doesn't know anybody on Kentucky's ball team really, but I'm a huge fan. So, as you can imagine, man, these 5-star players. My dad always said, and he's really right. He said, "There's not much different in the top 100 players anymore." And I have to agree. Some 5-stars are better than the others, and there's some players that are top 100 that are low hundreds and that are just as good as the 5-stars. Just who gets hot and who stays healthy. And so, basketball is just an injury can ruin everything. And so we've been very. It seems like Kentucky's just been injured a lot the last few years. So hopefully they've changed up a few things, and we can kind of get back on a roll to winning some national championships. That's what we hired him for. So Cal's the man. He's still king of the land. He's still king of recruiting. Everybody wants to play for him. He's got connections with the pros, and at the end of the day, these players want to play in the NBA and make millions, and which I say I can't blame them. So, he's a great stepping stone to the pros, and he's one of my favorite Kentucky coaches. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, we got to have you play one more for us, but I got, definitely another, at least one sports question I want to ask you about the Wildcats too, coming up with that. We got to have you play one more before we get out of here too, and a couple more little rapid fire questions. We'll take a quick time out for a break here. So definitely, hey man, I tell you what, I always say, turn it over to you when it comes to the guitar, and playing another one for us. What are we going to hear?
We'll do a Church Pew Barstool, #1 song
right,
for us off on CMT, and it's off my latest album. I'll do a verse and chorus. I'm getting some kind of delay, so hope this works. Well, I'm sure God's got a lot of strikes again. Always make it to church on Sunday. Been known to use 4-letter words, and too often I forget to pray and lessen in trouble. I like my whiskey strong and double. Lord, sitting on this church pew bar stool, listening to the sinners and the fools talking about their broken hearts, and here you come as you are. Can't help but think the man upstairs is cool with me on this church pew bar stool. Church pew bar stool. Church pew bar stool.
There it is, JD Shelburne here on the Backstage Pass. We'll take a quick time out. We're going to come back, hit a couple of more topics here on the show. Word from Bangtail, word from MitchMacs coming right back here. It's JD Shelburne. It is the Backstage Pass live on the YouTube channel and at the Sports Guys podcast.com. If you missed any shows, can always go there to check out the archives too. All the videos are up and all the audio shows that we do here on the show. If you ever miss one, the sportsguyspodcast.com. And of course, you can check out the Backstage Pass YouTube channel. Coming right back, more with JD here in a flash.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back on the show again, final few minutes with Nashville recording artist J.D. Shelburne. Here it is, the Backstage Pass, talking a little sports music. It's a grand slam. You can find it at the SportsGuysPodcast.com and also the Backstage Pass YouTube channel. Make sure you go visit J.D. on socials and give him a like if you have not done so already. Next week, some great shows lined up. The legend Deborah Allen is going to stop by, I believe, August the 5th. And then coming up next Monday to begin August, Priscilla Block. Boy, what a ride she has been on over the last 6 months to a year, too, as well, with Universal and all the success she's had with Thick Thighs and, of course, all the great albums she's got out right now. Be sure and check out Priscilla Block's music if you have not out there already. All right, I know this is a sore subject for me to touch, and a sour apple that we all love seeing these things with the NCAA tournament. I like the fact to watch good competitive college basketball. I mentioned about Justin Edwards and Kentucky getting a 5-star recruit, the second one they've had here for these early commits for 22-23. What I didn't enjoy seeing, and I think I even texted you that day, you had tickets to the Final Four. And St. Peter's had other ideas, 85-79, back in March of this year. And I went, well, it wasn't the exact words that came out of my mouth, but I was with you because I think you and I did a show pretty close to that time, and we said Kentucky's probably going to the Final Four based on the number 2 seed and the fact that I know 15s beat a 2 every now and then, but it's not like a 16 beating a 1, which has only happened a couple of times out there. But how did you take it, number one? Number two, I know you had tickets to the Final Four, which was in New Orleans, and then just seeing them get knocked out, and I guess I will use the word outplayed because it was 85-79. It just seemed like they couldn't hit a shot, my man.
Yeah. Yeah, they were cold, man. It was I saw panic mode. I felt they were panicked. They were panicked the first half. St. Peter's was hot, and they may have could have beat Michael Jordan's team that game. I mean, they were just play with nothing to lose. I mean, they were the underdog. People bet on Kentucky, and they just rallied and found a way to beat us. And I don't think we could have hit water if we fell off a boat that game. I mean, we were just. It's scary, and it was very sad. I mean, we had it lined up to go back to New Orleans where we won our last title. It was going to be, perfect timing. We won our last NCAA title there in 12, so Big Blue was ready to get back, and we thought for sure it was icing on the cake, and then it happened. But who knows, man? I mean, it's crazy, but they won a couple of games. They actually did pretty well, but their coach definitely got paid.
Yeah. He definitely did. And like I said, I'm sure he's got some other offers, or at least the phone was ringing if he decided not to leave St. Peter's. I couldn't remember if he actually took another job from the Victory. Some coaches have done that before, a la Shaka Smart at the University of Texas, no longer there now, but that's what happens. Success in anything leads to success in more things, and it worked out for Shaka, and I'm not sure if the St. Peter's coach took the other job, but at least it was a statement win for the program win nonetheless. As far as this year goes, you guys are excited about that. Hey, tell me about this. Has there been a latest food craving or a drink craving that you've gotten into, and if so, what is it?
Well, I got to tell you, man, we just have a Whataburger just built by our house, and I want to go try a Whataburger because I've been hearing about this hype for so long, and every time I drive by, there's literally 20 cars and security guys in line. I mean, it's like cops surrounding the place. So that's my new thing I want to try is Whataburger. Now, like, I don't know if it's like overrated or what, but like that's my next foodie I have to try is the Whataburger because they just built one in Nashville and it's like it's packed every day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
hopefully I'll try that.
breakfast or lunch, brother. And you're going to have to wait in line too with those other vehicles that we get through the drive-through. And definitely, it's a good burger. As long as you get that burger the way you like to make it, and the way that you want to make it, they'll fix it any way you want to. I know some people like jalapenos and other stuff out there, but it's hey, whatever floats your boat on a good hamburger out there. Hey, brother, always appreciate the vine here. Of course, you drop with us, and definitely best of luck to the Wildcats going into the season. Straight from Kentucky is the current album out there across all the digital platforms. Make sure you check it out, and also JDShelburne.com. Brother, appreciate you. Always a great friend of the show and a class act, and looking forward to doing this again as soon as the new music and the new album comes out. Best of luck going forward. That's the one, the only JD Shelburne here is the Backstage Pass. We'll see you guys next week here. Until then,